Okay, this shared ban list. I've got some serious concerns about the the way it's managed. Archie, I'll go to you on this one. The concern I have is, okay, I agree that it's a good thing in principle that, you know, when you get someone who's really bad or whatever, the information can be shared and that person's then banned from all the servers that are sharing this shared ban list. But how do you appeal?
So I mean, I've had that happen to me. It's basically when you get on a content creator's bad side, they can just blacklist you, right? Like I got banned on Doug, and now I'm banned on all the Spaggy servers for some reason, even though I've never fucking played on them. I've never spoken to the guy. He said some snarky shit on Twitter. I just ignore it. I never did anything to get banned on there. It says reputation ban. I don't know. Like I don't have any back bans on my account for cheating. I've never, been caught cheating. I don't like it in that aspect. And a lot of content creators will gang up, and use their network against other people. So when they see someone as a threat or competition, they'll get them blacklisted. I mean, you know that, boy. Do you remember the DMs? But it's happened to me my whole career that I've been streaming. That's why I went away from Twitch. But I have the shared ban list in our server, and I will say that most people use it for good when you're talking about like CF tools shared ban list, because it'll pop up and say this person has a VAC ban, 900 days ago. So, 3 years ago they were banned for something. It gives you a heads up, and 99.9% of the time, if they did, the people, if they did it once, they're still shitheads. I've given so many people a pass, and then they ended up doing the same shady shit. So we had to ban them. But you can also go into CF tools. There's a guy who he pops up in the chat sometimes. I won't name drop, but he's a good guy. We've had plenty of conversations. We played together. He joined our server, and I saw that he had a bunch of bans from RP servers that were all just petty admins, So, and when you get banned on CF tools, it shows up with every single server that uses it. And I'll appeal and I got 2 of his bans removed because he didn't ask me to. I just know he's a good guy, and a lot of these server admins are power tripping, man. And they don't realize that it's permanent. Once you ban somebody, it shows up for everybody. So it's kind of like, getting a felony. It's on your record forever, unless you change your Steam account. But, no one wants to do that just to play one game. So, I mean, it's got its pros, but then again, everything that's meant to be a good thing gets exploited, So it looks bad when somebody who's just being a petty, prick bans you.
See, that's what worries me, because I know in 99.99999% recurring of the cases, it's a justified ban. I don't dispute that. Someone has behaved egregiously, done something incredibly bad or whatever. But
most of the time it seems like it's I just banned him because I didn't want to deal with it. And the community all said he was bad. So then a person will get kicked off a server and banned based on hearsay, or gossip. They don't really have enough proof to permaban the person. But I think a lot of people just don't know that when you ban someone, it shows up for everybody else, So you kind of gotta, when you have like a rogue admin, like a lot of these servers do, that are just ban happy, because a lot of admins don't play the game. They just want to ban people. That's their personality trait with a lot of people that want to admin servers. If you're constantly getting reported,
it's a personality trait with a lot of people when they get power.
Exactly.
You can tell a lot about a person by the way they react when they get power. And I'm pretty sure every single community out there has made someone an admin on their server and then had to unadmin them because they abused that. Red's nodding his head.
Also, it's a lot of responsibility. It all falls on that person to make these decisions. And even if they don't think the person is guilty, they've got 10 people that are in a faction saying, well, we're going to leave. We'll go to another server if this guy doesn't get banned. And then the person feels like he or she is being dogpiled. I've seen that happen so much. They'll mass report, or they call it brigade reporting, where, 20 people, that's not an exaggeration in a lot of cases. A dozen or 24 people will put in tickets about one crew or one group of people, and they'll just ban them because it's a nuisance, And then when you try to appeal it, sometimes it works. Sometimes a lot of times they ban you from the server. You're kicked out of the Discord. Like when I got banned on Doug, they kicked me out of the Discord, the TeamSpeak, everything. I couldn't even appeal it. So
Everyone's saying that I'd be on their ban list. Durlef, my ban list is a grand total of 0 players long, testament to how uninteresting my servers are to the pew pew crowd. But still, that nobody has come in and caused a ruckus in 4 years is interesting. It's in today's day and age where people will brigade someone for any sort of thing. You wrong think, whatever you want to call it. It just, I genuinely have concerns that there are people out there who, and even if they did do something stupid, how do they go about getting a second chance or a third chance? I know Zyson there is saying for DayZ Down Under, if someone appeals a shared ban on DDU, we refer them to the community that added them to the list. But also our shared ban lists are from trusted servers. And again, I want to reiterate, the caveat is I do believe that 99.99999% recurring of people who are involved in this are good. But there's got to be cases out there of people who got banned for mistaken reason. I don't like that there's nowhere that they can go, a Discord they can join for the shared ban list and appeal their case even. I understand that there's issues with that, that most server admins are doing this out of the goodness of their heart. So, to ask them to take even more time to sit down and hold a court session where the person appeals their case and all the rest of it is a bit much. But there's got to be something, a way for them to appeal a shared ban because they may have. We're all human. We all have emotions. We all react to people differently. It's.
On our server.
Sorry, Foxy's saying there in chat, you need proof to put them on there. I know that, but I
mean, you kind of need proof. You don't. Foxy, I can go on my server and just ban anybody.
People have been executed for proof in the real world. So proof is.
I've seen people on the ban list. There was no proof. It was just banned for admin disrespect. You know what I mean? And you put this guy on a list because he disrespected the admin? Come on, dude.
So the situation we had was our servers had, we were using the champions ban list, and we were also sharing our ban list back out so that everybody could see if somebody's banned on our server via the shared ban lists that, now they're showing up with all these bans. And what we were getting was people showing up in our Discord trying to get the ban removed from our server, even though they didn't want to play on our server just because it was a reputation thing.
Yeah. I mean, I've deservedly been banned from like Trump's Wall a couple times for doing trap bases, right? But they always lift it, But yeah, you can just be a shithead admin and ban. Like the way we do it is 2 admins have to agree on the ban. That way, if one person is emotional, the other person's usually level-headed, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
That's a good policy.
There's a pretty bad, implication that comes with being on that list. So when I see people I know on there, I'll ask them about it, and then if I believe them, I'll contest it because I can. But yeah, it's just a way to scarlet letter people, man. If you don't like them, you can blackball them, use your network against them, and that's the problem is these clicks, man.
Well, that and things like on your server, you may have a rule that you can't build a base with more than 3 doors within 150 meters of a safe zone. And I'm like, on mine, it's just do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And so why should I be picking up your bans where you also may have legit ones, but you got these crazy rules that I don't agree with? And
okay, so
they all feed into one bucket.
There's been communities out there that have been exposed for shady dealings. They've done shady stuff. What happens with their ban list when they've been shown to have either scammed people or worked with cheaters, hackers, whatever? What happens then? Has someone said, shit, that calls all of their bans into question? If they're that petty that they're going to do something like that, what have they done? How many of these supposed You can edit stuff. You can only show the stuff that's relevant to supporting your case and not the background. We see that happening everywhere in social media these days about almost anything. You see a 5-second clip of someone doing something and you go, oh my God, that's terrible.
No context.
Without the 5 minutes beforehand that explain it. So this is my concern. As Archie said, this shared banned list has a pretty big connotation that, wow, they must have done something really bad. And they could have. In most cases, they have. I had one sent to me, or I saw a comment about one. I did a basic delve into it. And yeah, the guy totally deserved being on there. But he was saying, and lying about it and trying to make out like it was terrible that he'd been added to it. And when I looked into it, it was totally justified. And I replied back, yep, this didn't get a reply from him. He got caught out trying to lie about it. But
I don't know. In my experience, it's more like half the cases are justified. Because if like you go on CF Tools right now and look at the ban list, if you just of the people who have came in my server and it's vanilla, right? So most of them are like admin disrespect, illegal base raid, duping items, gear cycling, petty shit that should have been like a 48-hour, 72-hour ban. And these people are on the list. And a lot of admins see that and just kick the people to, pull the problem out at the root. And they don't even look. And then when you're trying to appeal someone else's, like if they come in our server and they have a ban from another server and I want to flag it, and have it taken off CF Tools for them, I have to write an essay to CF Tools to justify why I think it should be removed. You know what I mean? I just have AI do it. But like still the fact that you have to do that to get someone off that list is pretty rough, man. So it's a little overpowered sometimes. I think that it all falls on admins being overzealous. Sometimes.
Yeah, Studmuffin said in chat there, report it to Philip and he will look into it. And if it's bad, he will remove the listing. How do you report it to Philip? Who is this Philip? I've heard this name mentioned. I have no idea who the fuck Philip is. Philip DeFranco?
I don't know.
Again,
yeah. I'm only talking about CF Tools ban list because it's all verified and you can go through and talk to the other admins and stuff like that. So
yep, and there are other ban lists as well that other people probably have and share and all the rest of it.
Those are just blacklists though. Those aren't even like legit ban lists. They're just blacklisted players that that people don't want on their servers.
See, now I've never been on this ban list. So what comes up when you try to join a server and you're banned under CF Tools? Does it link you to his Discord or his website that you could lodge an appeal here?
CF Tools, it's whatever the admin puts in there for the ban message. So we always put the Discord on there. Like you can contest it here, and we put a link. Like when the Spaggy server thing, it just says you're banned auto reputation.
I hate that. I fucking hate auto reputation.
And I'm like, I've never even played this guy's fucking servers while I'm banned. Again, I've been banned on Trump's wall and shit for trolling. Justifiably, I admit that. But they put a link and says you can contest it here. Or the wall now, I'm sorry, whatever it's called. But a lot of them are just blacklists, man.
I think the obvious problem here is if you don't trust an admin to not abuse his powers, then how can you trust the same admin to write up why they've banned them? So for me, I think the whole thing, there's no regulation there, we know that. But I think to make it really simple, there either needs to be levels or there needs to be a simple, if you are a cheater or you've been caught hacking, you are permanently banned from everything. That's worthy of going on the list. Everything else, which is, right, I broke the rule on this server, such as Archie was saying, I set up a trap base deliberately for a bit of fun or a bit of content, or I did an illegal base raid, but actually I made a bit of a mistake. I mean, you're talking misdemeanors there.
Yeah, but again, though, at the end of the day, it's their server; they can do whatever the hell they want. But
of course.
When you go on a shared list, because that's
what I'm saying.
Problem.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So for me, I think you've got two problems. One, if you've got admin abuse, then how can you trust what they've said anyway? That there is an issue, a whole new issue. And secondly,
how much info is shared though on this? So someone said in chat, Ray said in chat that we see a flag that you have a community ban. So, okay, does it show the evidence? What evidence does it show?
It just says whatever. Yeah. There's a slot for evidence, but it's always empty.
Yeah.
Like, I know I'm cutting you off. I'm sorry.
No.
There's a slot that says like proof.
Can anyone show us what this looks like? Because I've never seen it. Please do. Share your screen.
I've never actually seen it myself.
Because I really want... Knowledge is power, there's a lot of, people carry on, this secret squirrel list and all the rest of it. But I think if people see...
Actually, I can't because I'd be violating that thing by showing this, and this is privileged information, so I can't show you. But because there's some law in the UK that you can't share. That's like a lot of people.
Protection.
A lot of people will, like, when I used to get stream sniped all the time on modded servers, or if somebody would kill me with hacks, I would say, well, give me the guy's Steam so I can block him, and they'd say we can't. And I was like, why? That's fucking stupid. The guy's
really?
He's you can't share it because in Europe there's a bunch of laws that guarantees internet anonymity. So if I share, and it says it on CF Tools, if you share this information, you violate the terms of service, and they'll just kick you off CF Tools.
So people are saying that there is sections for writing text and attaching files, but a lot don't. They just give a reason, and that's it. So what happens with these ones where there's nothing provided, where they
still get banned? Yeah, they're easier to appeal if you want to go through the time to appeal them. And I've done it for people that I can vouch for, right? But again, I'm not going to go on, see somebody that I've never played with before, and then vouch for them, and then them end up being back on there. It just makes me look bad. I've only appealed a couple bans for a couple people whom I've known for a while, and I can say, without a doubt that they're not disrespectful.
I'll come out and I'll say this, Cobra, interested in your point of view on this, but I think if there is no evidence provided within 7 days of the ban being uploaded, the ban should be removed. If the person can't be bothered to provide the evidence of why a person should go on a global ban list that is shared amongst the majority of the best servers out there, then it should be just auto removed. If you are not prepared to meet the minimum standard of evidence required, gone. You agree, Cobra? What about you, Falcon?
In spirit, I agree. I was just flipping through my ban list stuff, and there's just pages and pages of cheater or aimbot cheater, and if you look at the details, there's no details.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So then some guy kills the admin or kills the admin's friend, or most of the time it's the guy who is in a faction with 12 people that the server doesn't want to lose, right?
Right.
And then they go, hey, this guy aimbotted us. He's cheating. I know he's cheating. All right, well, let's jump in a Discord call. And then there's no context because there's no recorded, like they don't use the ticket system and
if I was watching Toprek as an admin, I would swear that guy has fucking aimbot. If I was watching Smoke, I would. And, they're just two content creators that we can name off the top of our head who've got godlike fucking skills. Imagine just how many players there are who don't create content who are just as good as them.
Well, this is an interesting conversation, right? So I also have admin rights to a server or two that I purposely don't play on, normally for cinematics only. And I've recently I won't say the name, but I'm going to be doing a series on there shortly. But I've just contacted or had contact with a very reputable, very well-known server, multiple servers that is. And they have said to me they had a problem with what they thought was cheaters. And they said, actually, we watched this group for about 4 hours, and they allowed me to jump on under their admin tools and watch myself because they wanted to see my perspective on it. And I looked at the actual kill to start with, the reasoning to start with from a couple of players. It turns out that this group, 2 of their PvPers were so good that they were just killing people left, right, and centre. And this is it. You talk about Topre. I've seen it personally. I've actually caught this week 2 proper hackers on official servers. I've actually got it in my series that's due out Saturday. I show you the evidence. It is clear. You can see them shooting up in the air and the bullets coming all the way down and striking me, right? Absolute clear footage. Now, there's 2 ways of dealing with that. You can either take that, show it so everyone knows, or you can just talk about it, and then who knows if they're cheating or not. Now, without that footage I've just said I've got, which I'm going to show Saturday, you can make your own minds up and it's quite clear. But how could I raise a ticket or provide feedback without showing that shit? So my point about all of this is, if you can't be bothered to put up some evidence, then unfortunately, in my view, you shouldn't go on any ban list.
Yeah, and it all comes down to the server admins too. They have to require that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then again, a lot of times when you're looking for something to be out of place, you're going to see it. It's Bader Meinhof effect, right? Which is why we do the 2 admins have to agree thing. Because when I come in, I always try to play devil's advocate. I'm not an admin, but we have one guy, he's just ban happy. He wants to ban everybody. And then another guy who's like, well, it could have been legit. He could have known you were there because you shot an elk, or he saw the deer running away, and you just got to have somebody playing devil's advocate, because the shit is permanent when people get hit with that. It's a scarlet letter, man.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
Permanent ban we're talking about here. That has to have evidence. Without it, even though cheaters are frustrating as hell, without evidence, you can't. How can you justify banning someone permanently?
Yeah, most of the bans I see aren't for cheating at all. Most of them are, like I said, for admin disrespect,
which is bollocks, isn't it?
Stupid shit. And then you put this guy on a list because he didn't, play into your fucking ego, which is a huge issue with admins, dude.
Yeah.
Like everywhere you go, everyone's dealt with it. I have the power. You're guilty until proven innocent. It's preponderance of evidence. You're screwed.
Mm-hmm. Well, good debate though.
Okay, so
I just dropped a free Nitro link in chat if anybody wants that.
don't click on it. Don't
do it.
So is this is like evidence nothing, reason toxicity, expires never.
Never expires for being toxic.
Right.
Okay. Well, interesting.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. That technically you can't even show that, but
it's not showing any names or anything.
Yeah, you can't. You're not supposed to show the dashboard, but it doesn't matter. So this isn't your server. You didn't screenshot this, so but yeah, it's that's the kind of thing. And then there's not a flag option on that, and there's no evidence in there whatsoever. So there is a flag option that's just cropped out. So where there's no evidence, those are a lot easier to get to appeal and get removed as someone with access to CF tools. But a person that doesn't have access to it is screwed unless they know an admin that can do it for them.
Mm-hmm. I think Stub Muffin makes a great point there. When it comes to maturity, you got to treat your players like customers. I think that's a lot of people get caught up with. This is my server, tough shit. This is the rules, and that's great. But hold on a minute. If you had no one on your server, you wouldn't be running the server. So how about you 50-50 that, balance it a little bit?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that come with it as far as like personalities and trying to placate and kiss ass. And God forbid you like shoot a female player and then the admin comes in and bans you just to like get in her good graces. That's happened to me so many times. And there's just all these different personal things that go into it.
Yeah.
And it's unfair.
Yeah. Fair enough. But there is no regulation. There won't be. So we have to deal with it, don't we?
Yeah, or just as admins, be smarter and have better policies, because you're permanently labeling people unfairly in a lot of cases. Now, like I said, I would say about half the time it's justified. There's evidence on there. There's
Absolutely.
There's a clip that goes to streamable where you can watch the guy obviously cheating and shooting a guy through a wall. But
so Lad shared something with me, a statement by Philip. This is from almost 3 years ago. Public display of ban list entries. Sharing ban lists is a powerful tool for every community and server operator in the fight against cheaters and abusers. Sadly, the tool itself has been subject to abuse in the past few months as it was misused as a public battleground for private feuds. Starting the 9th of December 2020, every ban list will be delisted. To be listed, a ban list must fulfill these requirements. Used on at least 2 servers, actively maintained at least 100 entries. Every ban must conform to the code of conduct. If primary language is other than English, the ban statement must contain an English translation. Verification of listing can be requested via the support centre. Use the subject ban list verification and provide information why you think that your ban list should be listed. So it's great that he's got some sort of guidelines there, but that's quite old.
It is, and it's also talking about. Well, I was going to say that's talking about listing in CF Tools. There's also the ban list that gets shared through the super secret elite companions Discord, where you can say, "Hey, I've got my servers and I've got a ban list that I want to share, and here's the code." And other people can pick that up, as well as feeding into or pulling from the companions ban list, which is a kind of a comprehensive one. So that's where it gets tricky.
I'm not against the ban lists because they do.
Oh no, not
there
at all.
are a lot of douchebags out there. Be it, I've seen some of these messages that some of these edgelords send when they get banned, especially when it's a female admin who bans them. Oh my god, the vile shit!
Thank you so much for saying that.
Yeah.
Holy
the
shit!
vile shit that comes out of some of their mouths is fucking horrendous, and they deserve to be banned until they, mature up. And if they come back the next day and say, "I'm sorry, I said horrible, mean things," I wouldn't be unbanning them. In a year's time, maybe you might review it then. But even then, actions have consequences. But people make mistakes as well, especially young men do and say stupid shit. So why shouldn't 6 months, a year later, they be able to plead their case to someone? And I'm very cognizant of the fact that time is money, even when you're doing something voluntarily. So you need to be aware that this can't be something that takes up hours a day dealing with little edgelords who said something stupid or downright vile, or who downloaded a hack. Because there's so many fucking hacks out there. I had a video shared with me of some guy who actively promotes them. His whole channel is about using hacks and showcasing what he does. So little kids watch
Bohemia,
that.
Though, no.
Yeah, I did. I sent it to Scotty. But when it's these listings that are no evidence, never expires, never expires should be for. I really think that should be something that if a ban is going to be for never, then that needs to be something that is reviewed by a group of people who are prepared to sit down and argue why that one should be a never expires, because that's a pretty big fucking call for pixels, for something related to pixels.
That person you just shared is only banned from that server, so he's not permanently banned from the game, but still it follows you around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it absolutely does.
Especially if the server has a good reputation. Like if day one bans you for something, people are going to be like, okay, that's legit. Zero servers ban you for something, that's legit. If Doug bans you for something, maybe, but I'm just saying.
Right. Well, and Sauerkraut brought up a good point, which is VAC bans, that's the Valve anti-cheating ban.
Yep.
And that was, I know when I first started with servers, that was one thing where anybody that had a VAC ban, I would go and look how old it was, and you'd get like a 1-year grace if it was a year ago, because again, people do stupid things and whatever. But that one, you can pretty much guarantee that's legit.
I'm going to try, and if someone has a relationship with Philip, I would love to get him on for as a guest in the future to talk about this with him, because I fully support what the mod does, but I just think there needs to be a few checks and balances in place, and that people supplying lists to it should be held to a higher standard, especially when it comes to these permanent, never-ending. And there needs to be more information provided to people, not just auto reputational ban, because that is what do you mean auto reputational? Did someone say bad things about me? Did I say something bad or what? There needs to be a bit more information, but it needs to be user friendly. We don't want people having to sit there for an hour having to lodge a fucking ban report. It needs to be a simple system that is fair.